Hello, BookTube. Well, as you can tell, I'm still experimenting with light and positioning in this new version of the old room. It seems that when the light is okay in some places, on some things, like me, it's terrible on the background. And when it's okay on the background, it's terrible on me. I'm just going to keep experimenting. It may end up being that I can't film in this little book room. If the choice is between blocking the window or filming in this or filming elsewhere, then I'm going to film elsewhere. So there's plenty of elsewhere. So I'll just have to see how that goes. And in the meantime, you can just bear with me for now. A lot of you, quite against my edicts, only listen to my videos anyway and don't watch them. So I thought to test out this light, this abominable light, for right now, we would do a quick mail haul. There were 2 packages that came in the mail. 1 envelope and 1 box. I thought we'd just go through those and see what we have. See if maybe we have a repetition of these repeated violations of rule number 1. A lot of you have been sending me books. That's oh, okay, no, all right, good. Good. Okay, the first one is a finished copy of Andrew Mayne's Black Coral, which we've seen a few times on this channel. This is the 2nd volume in an underwater investigation unit series set in Florida. That is really good. This series is really good. I went and read, the first one was called The Girl Beneath the Sea. I went and read that and really liked it, and this one was terrific. Just terrific. It's in some ways by the numbers, you know, where these police procedural type things, a lot of the thing that they do, a lot of the import that they have for the reader is take that reader into the nuts and bolts, the local flavor of whatever twist it is. You know, is the forensic specialist crippled? Okay, fine. Is the forensic specialist blind? Okay, fine. Does the police procedural take place in the mean streets of St. Louis or something like that? Fine. It all depends on the author's ability to evoke that world, and in this case, Andrew Mayne does a fantastic job. These are just, I read Black Coral, and I believe it's going to be reviewed, not by me, but I will leave a link to the pertinent review when it comes out. But the book isn't out yet. The book doesn't come out until February 16th. But boy, oh boy, is it review worthy. I mean, it's a Thomas and Mercer paperback original. Is that right? Do I remember that correctly? It comes out February 16th from Thomas and Mercer, which is the thriller arm of Amazon Publishing. Yeah, this is going to be a $16 paperback. And $16 paperbacks and from Amazon don't tend to get reviewed in mainstream journals. They maybe, you know, a mystery review journal, something like that, or Strand Magazine might have a quick review of this in the back. But the full treatment that it deserves, it's terrifically done. So it might not get that anywhere. There are all sorts of knee-jerk prejudices that book section editors operate under. Usually those prejudices are amazingly uniform across the whole country. And one of them is that they tend to disdain debut novels unless it's highly hyped. And 2 is that they tend to disdain paperbacks. I don't know why that is. I've never really understood that. But nevertheless, you don't have to disdain paperbacks. And if you like thrillers, I've already recommended this thing a couple of times on this channel. If you like thrillers, that are smartly done, that aren't just dumb jump scares or cardboard cutout characters, that sort of thing. If you like a little more complexity in your police procedural thrillers, then start with The Girl Beneath the Sea. Find it. Probably there's an Amazon deal out there somewhere that's dirt cheap, and then move on to this one and don't miss another book in the series. Andrew Mayne is a polymath, a magician, an explorer, a writer, a prolific writer. And I always distrust polymaths because who knows what shiny object might attract his attention. He might never write a 3rd book in this series. I hope that isn't true. I hope that he sticks with this. But one way or another, you can't go wrong. I'm not quite sure why Thomas and Mercer sent me another one of these. Oh, but hey, hey, since they did, let me know. Sing out in the comments field if one of you really wants this. Now that I'm back into at least provisionally mailing things. I can try and send it to you in rural New Zealand. So then we'll do the box, and then we'll be done with this oddly lighted mail haul. And I am not going to destroy the box because I use the boxes now. I use the boxes to send out things. to people. Just, oh, fantastic. Okay, great. All right. Okay, let's put this somewhere. I don't need this. Lovely. This is a finished copy. I got the invoice, but not the pub sheet, and the book doesn't have a pub sheet, but that's all right. It's coming up soon, or it's out already. This is from Basic Books. This is by Robert Elder, and it is a new biography of John C. Calhoun, who hasn't had a big biography in a while. So, and now I'm kicking myself. I didn't know I was going to get a finished copy of this. I saw a copy of his previous full-dress biography from probably 40 years ago at the Brattle Bookshop just a week or two ago. It's probably gone by now. And I don't need it. Anyway, Calhoun is a deeply, deeply soiling and evil figure in American history, so I don't need to read. I don't need to spend hours and hours in his company. I've already read that earlier biography, and there were two historical sort of treatments of him. They weren't full-dress biographies. They were rather like Calhoun and the Nature of American Freedom, or something like that. You know what I mean? Or the Fate of American Slavery. And I read both of those. I read two of those, so I'm up on this. It's not like I need exhaustive background to do this. Let's see. We'll read this. We'll read a bit of this too, since I don't have a pub sheet. John C. Calhoun is among the most notorious and enigmatic figures in American political history. First elected to Congress in 1810, Calhoun went on to serve as Secretary of War, as Vice President under two very different presidents, John Quincy Adams and Andrew Jackson, and as Secretary of State, but he is perhaps known for arguing in favor of slavery as a positive good while serving as U.S. Senator from South Carolina, and for his famous doctrine of state interposition, which laid the groundwork for the South to secede from the Union and arguably set the nation on a course for civil war. Arguably. Arguably. We're never giving up our slaves, and if you don't like it, we'll secede from the Union. But he arguably laid the groundwork for a civil war. Calhoun has catapulted back into the public eye in recent years, as some observers connected the strain of radical politics he developed to the tactics and extremism of the far right, and as protests over racial injustice focused on his legacy. In this revelatory biographical study, historian Robert Elder shows that Calhoun is even more broadly significant than these events suggest, and that his story is crucial for understanding the political climate in which we find ourselves today. By excising Calhoun from the mainstream of American history, he argues, we have been left with a distorted understanding of our past and no way to explain our present. I want to stress here that it's not the job of a biographer of John Calhoun to explain the present, and it's certainly not John Calhoun's job to explain the present or even to shed light on it. This is a tack. I mean, granted, this is just the cover copies, not the book. But this is a tack that biographers and people writing about Calhoun tend to take. They tend to trot out, in fact, that exact same word, enigmatic. There was nothing enigmatic about John C. Calhoun. Nothing. He was just an acid in his blood, fire-breathing racist. There's nothing enigmatic about that. You'd like there to be. People would like there to be. People would like that to be a mystery. But it isn't. It isn't. He was just a crazed, kill his own children bigot. That's all. No enigma at all. And no enigma really as to why there were enough forces, cultural forces, political forces behind him to push him into a position of power, where he could take that twisted, sad, dark, lonely, bitter, obsessive race hatred and actually affect the world with it, instead of just beating his kids and forbidding them to even look at instead of being reduced to doing that, which a whole bunch of his childhood playmates and schoolboy chums were reduced to. Instead of doing that, he was able to affect the fate of the nation. But there wasn't anything mysterious or enigmatic about the way or why he did that. He was just a vicious racist. That's all. A deeply unsavory character to know, to read about. But nevertheless, this could be superb. I have heard lots of great advanced word about this thing. And there, as we've covered on this channel many times, it's entirely possible to write a superb biography of a loathsome individual. I don't know why the cover jacket is pussyfooting around the issue there. What was the phrase? The tactics and extremism of the modern far right. Racism. The racism of the modern far right. The authoritarian racism of the modern far right. Might as well use the words. They've already demonstrated to the rest of the United States that they are perfectly willing and almost able to overthrow the government by force. So might as well call it for what it is, right? Remember the concluding Harry Potter movie, right? Where Professor McGonagall says his name is Voldemort. He's going to try to kill you either way. You might as well say his name. So if there was ever a Voldemort in American history. Anyway, I'm very much looking forward to this. I don't know the date on it, but I'm going to read it today. So there you go. That is our mail for today. A superb thriller and probably a superb biography too. We will see. The thing that will hold this back from being as good as its predecessor from all those decades ago will be if that isn't just cover copy. The thing that will hold this back is if this book tries to pander for relevance. Nothing hurts a biography worse than that. Nothing hurts a biography worse than saying, you should pay attention to this, not because of the job I've done in researching and then writing, but because it informs the headlines of the day. If you need Black Lives Matter to sell a biography of John Calhoun, then your biography of John Calhoun is not good enough. We will see. We will see. I will report back. So that's our mail for today. There might be more mail coming today, but that's all I have so far. So I'm going to wrap this up and see if the sun cooperates with another video. Thank you, BookTube.